you back to fabulous Flemington as the Carnival of Champions rolls into full swing. The fastest horses in the land are here, ready to scorch the turf up the famous straight in the Group 1 Lightning Stakes. It's arguably this country's premier test of out-and-out speed. And the quality horses take the next step towards the Australian Cup in the Blamey over the metric mile. It's Irish Day, a touch of the Blarney, a drop of the Guinness and hopefully a little of their luck. Welcome to Network 10's Australia-wide coverage of another super summer Sunday of racing from the course of history. Yes, a very good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to fabulous Flemington for this, one of the first days of the Carnival of Champions for 1998, and we have a tremendous program ahead of us over the next couple of hours, and we welcome you to Network 10's Australia-wide telecast of the big day from Flemington, which is incorporating two of the big races of the summer, and I speak of the Lightning Stakes and also the Blamey. Let's have a look at the card that we'll be covering for you over the next 2 hours here at Flemington. The Saab handicap is coming up very shortly at 8 minutes past 1 Eastern Daylight Saving Time. Then we've got the Shamrock Travel British Airways Quality, followed by the Guinness Lightning Stakes when they'll be scorching the turf up the straight, and the Blamey Stakes over 1,600 metres coming up at 2:46. And joining me to talk about racing today is Joe McKinnon. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Pete. How are you?
Well, you must be excited today because really you find that the good horses are back and there's a touch of excitement in the air here at Flemington.
Yeah, this is a race day that I've been looking forward to for some time, especially the Lightning Stakes, when you see the country's best sprinters going head-to-head.
It is a bit of a shame that Mahogany is not with us, and we'll touch on that in a moment, but there are reasons behind that.
Yeah, the track conditions really don't suit the horse today, nor did the barrier draw.
Well, the track was officially slow, but I can tell you it has been upgraded to dead at 11:30 this morning. We have a partly cloudy day here in Melbourne, expecting 22 degrees as the top, and the rail is in the true position. Now let's check the scratchings for the 4 races that we will be covering. And from the second event, you can take out here number 2, Mustang Red, also 14, 15 and 16, Jade Start, Laird's Image and Mr. Zem. So there you have them, 2, 14, 15 and 16. From the third race, the scratching is number 8, Denari. From the Guinness Lightning Stakes, take out number 1, Mahogany, as we mentioned, a field of 8. And race 5 on the card is the Blamey Stakes at 2:46, and the scratchings are 7, Dry Humour, and 12, Sirinel. Well, these candidates are on their way to the stalls for the start of race number 2 this afternoon, the Saab handicap. It's over 1,800 metres, starting time 8 minutes past 1, so we're getting close to that, only around about 4 minutes of betting time remaining. And there's the top one here, Dennis. They're all set. Let's join Greg Miles for his call of race 2.
All set for the second. Dildon, the clear favourite, drawn down on the inside. Often racing now over at the 1,800. Ildon dwelt a little at the start, and City Hall bounded out brilliantly down towards the inside. Our Bourbon drifting back to be last of all, settling down. Bruce going up to second outside City Hall. Danasarai trapped on the outside of them, and they're followed then by Torelli, fourth on the inside of Tumble Home. Ildon getting up behind them over on the rails. Going forward is Regal Ruler. They're followed by Zaquello, a Regal Day, and a couple of lengths to Alpha Ramadi over on the outside of Hartley Bay. And Our Bourbon last of the 12 when they went to the 1,300. And City Hall in front, not going all that hard. Leading out 3/4 of a length, Danasarai. Torelli having a nice run over on the inside as third. Regal Ruler on the outside there of Brew. About 2 lengths back to Ildon, running about 6th on the inside. Tumble Home is with him, and Zaquello travelling deep. A length and a half then to a Regal Dane, back there with Hartley Bay and Alpha Ramadi out 3 wide. And 2 lengths to Our Bourbon at the back of the field now. City Hall is the leader. Gee, they've walked along in this. He's a half in front of Danasarai. 2 lengths to Rally over on the inside of Brew when they went to the 800 metre mark now. A Regal Ruler is travelling out wide going towards the leaders, and Zaquello deep out. Tumble Home pulling his head off between horses, Ildon over on the rail, followed by Alpha Ramadi, Hartley Bay. A Regal Dane is second last coming towards the home turn, and Our Bourbon is last of all. City Hall sweeps around the turn into the straight in the second and led up by about a length and a half to Danasarai on the outside. Out wider is Regal Ruler. Torelli with the rails run if good enough. There's plenty of room for him to come through from Tumble Home. Now, let's see, Ildon is following him through along the inside within a length and a half of the leader. Danasarai and City Hall, the 2 leaders. Ildon switches off their heels inside the 200. He's into the clear, and Torelli along the rail. Ildon is answering the urgings now. Gets up to Danasarai, and Torelli, the favourite, takes the lead, Ildon, and draws clear. And Ildon wins it over a length on the line. Bobbing go the Miners. Torelli just in front of Danasarai, I'd say. In behind them, Tumble Home, Regal Ruler, Brew, and then City Hall. They were followed by a Regal Dane. Lane, and then Alframati, Hartley Bay, Zaquello as well back, and our Bourbon trailed them all the way.
Well, just another copybook ride there by Greg Childs aboard Il Don, the favourite. And another winner for Peter Hayes, the stable on fire at the moment. They scored in the Pakenham Cup earlier in the week. There's Torelli getting up along the inside of City Hall. Dennis Araya in the blue cap, but gee, that was 10 out of 10, that ride, Joe.
Very, very good ride. I mean, the horse did get held up there and had to peel back out, and to see him come home like that, that was a very impressive performance, especially given that the going right on the rail there is much better than where Il Don finished off the race.
You saw the horse duck in there, and Greg's just had to put the whip away, and as Joe said, basically had to stop the run at about the 200, switch across their heels, and then come to the outside, and that was a very, very good effort by that horse, Il Don. I think he's destined for better things, and the way he races, Joe, a distance like a Derby distance, I know Gary Fennessy was talking about maybe a South Australian Derby, you wouldn't think a mile and a half would be any problems for him.
I don't think so at all.
So Il Don, number 4, the winner, ridden by Greg Childs. The second place getter is number 8, Torelli. So it's run a pretty good race at good odds, Torelli. Perfectly ridden by Shane Dye, box seated. And third placing going to number 1, and that is Dennis Araya. So those interims not quite correct. We'll bring those to you. The numbers are 4, 8 and 1. The dividends themselves will be correct. The order is 4, 8 and 1. And here they go to the line. Hands and heels by Il Don in the closing stages.
And also an improved performance here from Dennis Araya too.
Yeah, not a bad effort, and as we said, was dropping in class, so the trifecta wasn't that hard to have. Il Don, the favourite. Torelli, we gave a very good each-way chance to, and Dennis Araya, certainly the class runner of the race.
Worried me a bit today. He was a little slow away, and I didn't like where he was in running, and you know, there was no pace in the race, so it was a very good effort to get out and win as well as he did.
Yeah, to go to the line like that, he really got some potential, hasn't he? Where's he go now?
I don't know. I mean, we'll have a really good look at him. You know, I'd always felt that he was a sort of a South Australian Derby horse, come back in the spring type horse, but if he keeps improving the way he is, well, we might have to consider Sydney, you know.
Yeah. And would you press on, have you got long-term range forecast for this horse, maybe spring horse?
Well, we've sort of felt that he would develop into a spring horse, yeah. So you know, we'll just have a good look at him and play it by ear, but he's going well.
He's sprung a few surprises, hasn't he? Well done, Peter. All the best. Back to you, Peter.
Anthony Methven down there with Peter Hayes, and I think Peter Hayes is right there. That horse is just going ahead in leaps and bounds, and they are perhaps now looking towards the big carnival in Sydney instead of Adelaide. He's got a lot in front of him, that horse Il Don, and a most impressive win, and another great ride by Greg Childs. So checking the numbers there, 4, Il Don, Greg Childs the winner. Second place into 8, Torelli, Shane Dye, and third, 1, Danasuria, ridden by Gregory Hall. And there is Greg Childs bringing Il Don back to scale after the running of race number 2, and this great scene here at Flemington, of course, for the Carnival of Champions, and $1.40. Torelli second, $2.40. Danasuria third, $3.20. The trifecta was pretty big, $128.40. The Quinella was also big at $13.10, and the race-to-race double paid $65.20. That was for numbers 7 and 4, $65.20. And correct weight is there. The winner scored officially by 2 lengths. There was a short half head between second and third. Time for the journey was 1:50.9, and that is 2.8 seconds outside the record. And I can tell you, after the first race, I spoke to Damien Oliver, and he said in the straight race that they were kicking it up a bit, and he felt that the place to be was hard up against the outside rail. And just talking to a few of the other people around the racing circles here in the mounting yard, they suggested that the rail is going to be the better going in the races around the circle here at Flemington today. And Torelli certainly had that going. Il Don had it for most of the way until Greg Childs pulled out at the 200-metre mark. I think they're just about set for the present race on the card here at Flemington.
Fitzgerald 2. Off now. Timber began well. Fitzgerald reasonably out of the stalls. Marvel hustled out. Eastern Jet ridden up forward. Look for Mars is going to cross them now, and coming across with it, Follow Gold. From the outside barrier, Follow Gold had zipped down to be the leader. Out in front of Look for Mars settling second. Eastern Jet about a length away in third, and then Our Jemima. The favourites are settling a good way back. Marvel outside Timber, who's second last, and Fitzgerald's last of the field of 7, going past the 600 metres now. And the leader here against the outside rail, Look for Mars. Out there in company with Follow Gold. They lead Eastern Jet more than a length. About 2 lengths back then, Timber on the rail. Fitzgerald getting into a little bit of trouble trying to get into the clear there from Marvel on his outside, and now Jemima's last. Follow Gold went down towards the 200 and skipped out by 2 lengths now. From Look for Mars, Eastern Jet is holding down third. Timber and Fitzgerald making no impression, and Follow Gold at the 100 is 3 lengths in front and is going to bolt it in. Follow Gold in the run home for Wayne Treloar has gone on to win by 3 lengths. Second is Look for Mars.
And Follow Gold in the first race paid $11.70 for the win and $3.40 for the place. Look for Mars second, $4.40, and there was no third toe dividend for Timbray. The first trifecta paid $257 even, and the Quinella on the first race was a dividend of $36.80. And Joe, it was good to see Wayne Treloar back in the winner's circle. He doesn't visit the winner's circle too often in town, but he's a very, very capable rider.
That's right, he is. And Pete, as we said earlier, it is a great shame that we won't be seeing Mahogany race up the straight here today in the Lightning Stakes, but we will be seeing his regular rider Greg Hall throughout the day. And during the week I caught up with Greg and we spoke about his plans for the future. At 41, Greg Hall remains one of the country's best big race riders, and he intends staying in the top echelon for a few years yet.
I'm very, very confident that the next 3 or 4 years, I mean, this may, you know, it sounds hard to believe this, but I think they're going to be my best years, because I just know myself, the way I'm riding since I've come back from overseas, and the way I feel, and I've got a different sort of mental attitude about it all, and you know, I have got, you know, 25, 26 years experience behind me, and I love riding horses.
The lovable larrikin says there's only one reason why he'd retire any earlier.
I mean, if I win Powerball on Thursday night, Joe, I may be doing another interview with you Friday. Might even change the whole weekend for me, but I mean, that's not probably going to happen. But you never know, it might.
The past 6 months have been turbulent for Hall. Late last year, he endured a massive run of outs, 60 rides for no wins. Then there was the emotion-charged Melbourne Cup aboard Doremus.
Doremus after Might and Power and Doremus, they hit it. Oh, it's close, Doremus lunged on the outside. Kenny have done it a second time. It's a photo in the Melbourne Cup, Doremus and Might and Power.
Wielding his whip in the air, Hall thought he'd won, but 30 seconds later, number 3 popped up in the frame. Super horse Might and Power, the victor.
Yes, say half a stride before and half a stride after it was Doremus, and I'm sure Greg Hall thought he'd won it. Oh, definitely.
Emotionally, it's probably the worst I've been. I'm not really an the person that gets very emotional, but I mean, I broke down that day after when I was trying to get the saddle off, and then Lee grabbed it and he grabbed me, and I mean, it was just, I mean, the fact of, I don't know, it's sort of hard to explain. It was like the same question when I won it in '92, what's the feeling like of winning it? Well, I mean, the feeling of getting beat is this is quite the opposite to the feeling of winning, but I mean, it's not a thing that can be answered to the human being, you know.
What a great finish. That is one of the great finishes in Melbourne Cup history.
I have won one in '92, so I consider myself a very, very lucky boy. Boy, that is.
Sub-Zero clear, Vienda Cross won't get him, and the Melbourne Cup of 1992 belongs to Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero wins by 2 to Vienda Cross and Castletown third.
Horses like Sub-Zero, Doremus, Mahogany, and 9 times out of 10 you find all these great horses, they have got beautiful natures, and that's what gets you close to them, is when you're riding them track work and race day, and they behave like gentlemen, and they do everything in the right manner. And you know, I mean, Sub-Zero, you would love him as a horse. He's just a, you know, he's not the greatest horse in the world, where everybody understands that, but he's just a beautiful animal, you know, and he would lick you to death row and do anything silly, you know.
Some of his fondest memories are with veteran sprint star Mahogany.
Yeah, he's my old mate, and he's an absolute star, he is.
Mahogany hit the front 100 ago and has careered away. A big winner, Mahogany.
It wouldn't matter where you took him, not just in Australia. When he races like he did at Caulfield first up, or all the times that we've seen him first up, when he does that, I mean, there's not a horse in the land that can beat him.
Just as it is for Mahogany, age is no barrier for Hall.
my main goal is keep winning group races, because that's what you get remembered by. I mean, Greg Hall's already remembered by his Melbourne Cup and his Cox Plate and his slippers and derbies. I mean, let's go and do it again. That's fantastic. I'm happy with that. But the main thing is big races. People will expect you to perform, so go out and do it.
He's a great character of the racing game, Gregory Michael Hall, and more often than not, Joe, he does go out and do it.
That's right, he does. I think there's a few years left in Greg Hall yet.
And the good thing is, watching those scenes of Doremus and Might and Power, we're going to get to see that again in just a few weeks' time.
Yeah, only last week the connections of Might and Power and Doremus all decided that they would line up in the Australian Cup, and that is bound to be one of the greatest showdowns in any Australian Cup, I think.
And we'll be here for it on Monday the 9th of March, as well as the Australian Cup, the $1 Million Cadbury Guineas, the third leg of the Triple Crown. And it'll be live here on Network 10, 1 o'clock till 5 o'clock Eastern Daylight Saving Time on Monday the 9th of March. That is something certainly worth looking forward to, the return of Might and Power and Doremus clashing again in the Australian Cup. But more immediate matters we have for his call of race 3 here at Flemington.
Be set now.
Pedant in
going
one.
up. Set to
Racing
go.
now,
Off and running this
Gold Moment
time.
began well in company with Pedant over on the outside. Pearl jumped away okay. Danelaw settling just behind them. True Blonde is going fast from the outside barrier, and it's going to cross down and be in front. Matabele Queen isn't far away now. True Blonde crossed from the outside and went to the rail in front. Moving up into second is Matabele Queen, and Pedant is settling just behind them, followed by Scarlet Rocket. In behind those is Gold Moment settling about fifth. Danelaw at its outside, and Our Excellency closer to the middle of the course. Pearl back in behind them from Wide Vision, and Final Queen is last of all, heading to the 500 metres, and True Blonde in front of Matabele Queen, who came away from the rail to sit second. Scarlet Rocket and Danelaw are closer to the middle of the track, going up now, and in behind these horses, Gold Moment is being very hard ridden. Pedant just ahead of it, then Pearl and Wide Vision, and a long break to Our Excellency and Final Queen. They're at the 2 now. True Blonde is being tackled by Danelaw, the stablemate. Gold Moment has finally got into the clear, and she's coming home reasonably well. Danelaw hit the front from True Blonde, and then Gold Moment, but it's Danelaw clear now, more than a length clear, and Danelaw's going to win pretty well. Danelaw first, Gold Moment second by a length and a half away. Matabele Queen, I think, grabbed third from Wide Vision. They're followed by True Blonde, who weakened, and then Pearl. A long break behind those was Pedant and then Pearl, followed by Scarlet Rocket, then Our Excellency, and Final Queen was a bad last.
Well, that filly has run right up to her appearance in the mounting yard, Danelaw number 4, with Damien Oliver, the winning rider for Lee Freedman. And here's the replay now, and you can see Danelaw stretching out beautifully over the final stages after having beaten off the stablemate True Blonde. Getting home was Gold Moment, which has run home into second placing, and third placing to Matabele Queen. True Blonde carving up over the last 100 metres or so, and probably I think a lot of that, Joe McKinnon, had to do with the fact that he had to use True Blonde up to get from the middle of the track to the outside rail in the early stages.
Yeah, that proved costly in the end in that race. Impressive performance there from Gold Moment too, who took a while to get the split there and get out and run home.
Yeah, probably needs it a bit longer, but taking nothing away from the winner, it was impressive because it didn't have the rail until about the 200 metre mark when Damien was able to come over. It was out in the middle part of the track, and here we see Danelaw after True Blonde. There's Gold Moment in the white colours in third place, starting to stretch out now, but I like the way this filly lengthened when Damien asked her for the effort.
Showed a great turn of foot here in the finish. Very impressive win.
So there's Danelaw striding away. Could be better things in store for this particular filly. I'm sure trainer Lee Freedman would agree. He's with Anthony Mitham.
Certainly it was an impressive performance, Lee.
Yeah, I like her, Anthony. You know, she ran well first up, and interestingly enough, Shane Dye rode her that start and put a very good rap on her, and he rode the runner-up today. So she's a filly with a good pedigree. She's out of a good mare that won the Perth Cup, and she gives me the impression that, you know, maybe next season she's going to be a filly that'll be a sort of Guineas Oaks type filly.
So she'll certainly get over the ground with that sort of breeding, won't she?
You'd expect so. You know, she gives every indication that that's what she wants to do.
Mahogany out of the big race today. Soft ground, was it?
Combination of things. Soft ground. Barrier was a bit iffy. It was going to be difficult for him anyway. So when the rain came, it sort of made up our minds. We don't get too many opportunities with him, so you've got to make everyone count.
Yeah, it's a shame. Bad luck. Well done there, though, Lee. Cheers.
There's the winning trainer, Lee Freedman, a happy man, and, well, he might be because that filly looks as though she has a bright future. Danelaw, number 4, the winner. Second placing to 6 Gold Moment, Shane Dye. Third, number 2, Matabele Queen, Brett Preble. The winner's time, 1:06.5, was 4.2 seconds outside the record as Damien Oliver comes back in the Doremus colours into the winner's race here at Flemington. We'll take a break and be back with the correct weight signal and the tote dividends on the Shamrock Travel British Airways quality in just a moment. Dividends are $4.10 and $1.80 for the winner Danila, $1.60 for Gold Moment, $2.60 Matabele Queen. If you had the trifecta, it paid $76.40. The Quinella was $7.70, and the running double paid a dividend of $10.30 on race 3. So